Led Zeppelin was an English rock band that formed in 1968. It consisted of 4 members, from left to right: John Bonham, John Paul Jones, Robert Plant, and Jimmy Page. John Bonham was the drummer of Led Zeppelin and is widely considered to be the best drummer of all time. He was born on the 31st of May 1948 in Worcestershire, England. Aside from being on tour for the most part of his adult life, Bonham maintained his home of Worcestershire and Birmingham. John Paul Jones is considered to be the most underrated bass player ever, and even though that is what he is known for, he can play 14 other instruments. He was born on the 3rd of January 1946 in Kent, England. Growing up, his musical family used to tour England with a vaudeville comedy act. Because his parents regularly toured, Jones was sent to boarding school quite young in Blackheath, London. He has owned several houses throughout his adult life, including one in East Sussex. Robert Plant was the lead vocalist of Led Zeppelin. He was born in West Bromwich, England on the 20th of August 1948, but he grew up in Kidderminster, Worcestershire. He left home at 16 and performed with several groups. He was working in Birmingham when he joined Led Zeppelin. He continued to have his home in the Midlands of England throughout his career. Jimmy Page was the guitarist and leader of the group. He was born in West London, England on the 9th of January 1944. At the age of 8, his family moved to Feltham and then to Epsom, Surrey, where he spent most of his years growing up. He toured around in a bus playing gigs for 2 years with the band called the Crusaders. From 1970 to the present, Page has resided in 5 different mansions, the third of which himself and John Bonham did a lot of writing for Led Zeppelin in. Led Zeppelin wrote and performed rock music, specifically hard rock, folk rock, blues rock, and heavy metal. Their third studio album has an emphasis on a folk sound. A good example of their hard rock sound is Nobody's Fault But Mine from the Mothership album. Since I've Been Loving You is a blues number by the band, released in 1970. A heavy metal example is Black Dog from their 4th album. Led Zeppelin is considered the best rock band of all time, and one of the first to introduce the rock and roll lifestyle so many musicians have experienced. They trashed hotel rooms, drank excessively, and were experimental in their drug use. This way of living affected their careers, tours were cancelled, and eventually a band member died. Led Zeppelin are an incredible band with a hugely loyal fan base, sometimes aggressively so. No doubt at least some of their music was written under the influence of substances, and possibly that may have done them some favours, but whether their music was written under the influence or not, their inventive musical choices have impacted the music industry and people all over the world.